What's up everyone, and welcome back to another COD Zombies tier list video. Now I know it's been a while since I've done one, but I originally planned for my next tier list video to be the Black Ops 3 guns ranking, but I didn't want to do that until I hopped on to Black Ops 3 and my binge of marathoning all of the COD Zombies maps. And at the moment, as of recording this, I haven't even recorded the Die Rise video yet, so I've got a little ways to go until I get to Black Ops 3. So I thought I would jump in and do another tier list video for you today before then. And I thought this time I would revisit the COD Zombies Easter egg video, except this time, instead of ranking them in order of preference as to which ones I enjoy the Easter egg more, I would in fact rank these objectively and talk about which ones are the easiest to hardest. So I'm not talking about which ones are my favourites and which ones are my least favourites. I'm instead talking about the difficulty of the Easter egg in terms of like convenience and also how much prior practice and knowledge you need to get them. So this is like how you'd rank the difficulty of an Easter egg for a beginner, not as an experienced COD zombie person. So basically the stuff at the bottom of the list, the bottom tier being beginner, is obviously going to be the tier for all of the people watching this that haven't done an COD Zombies Easter egg before. And then the expert ones is going to be maps, obviously, from Black Ops 4 or Black Ops 3. It will be the expert tier list. But I thought I'd get into it and rank all of the maps. I think I won't do it in any sort of order that is placed here, because I do want to quickly get some of the obvious ones out of the way. The hardest COD Zombie map Easter egg that you could ever attempt. Where is it gone? It's here somewhere. I've lost it. There you go, Blood of the Dead. It is by far and away the hardest COD Zombies Easter egg. It's not even close. I also hate this Easter egg, so I would not recommend you attempting it until you know exactly what you're doing, when you've studied the map inside out. This Easter egg, for an experienced fucking Easter egg hunter, literally will take them 5 hours. It took me, I think, 6 hours on my first attempt to actually complete Blood of the Dead, and that was after months of practice and sheer fucking will. And that Easter, I will never do that Easter egg ever again. I do not care for it, and I will not recommend it. Now let's do some of the easier Easter eggs. Let's do the beginner tier list. Let's get some of the beginner ones out of the way. Let's go with where's all of the Cold War maps? Let's get some of those out of the way, because those ones are pretty damn easy. Where the fuck? I can't find Forsaken. Am I just blind? Where's Forsaken, guys? I can't see it. Forsaken isn't here. Well, Forsaken would be in the beginner tier, the final map on Cold War. That would be an easy map. D Machine is also a beginner map for the Easter egg. It is piss easy. There's barely anything you've got to do. A slightly more difficult map than D Machine, but still in beginner tier, is Firebase. The only reason it is slightly more difficult than D Machine is the Mimic step. But besides that, it's piss easy. Also, one thing I will say about the Forsaken, I can't believe that Forsaken isn't on here, and yet Outbreak is. Anyway, speaking of Outbreak, I won't be ranking Outbreak because I haven't completed that Easter egg, but I have seen footage of it, so I can give you some insight, but I won't be sticking it on the tier list because I haven't tried the Outbreak Easter egg. But yeah, so the Forsaken one, though it isn't on this list by the looks of it, I would put it at the very bottom. It's like the easiest Easter egg ever. Mostly because the way you do the Easter egg is just get some score streaks after you open up the entire map, and you're nearly there. It is that easy. So yeah, another really easy Easter egg is Ascension. I'll put it above D Machine, but let's be fair. The most difficult thing about Ascension is the mystery box RNG and getting 4 people to play that Easter egg with you on that map. That is the only thing that's difficult about Ascension. Everything else about it is so fucking brain dead easy on Ascension. Any other beginner maps that I can see here? Blah blah blah. Not Rev, not Alpha Omega. That's for sure. I think that's about fair. I would have liked to have stuck Forsaken in there, but it's not on this tier list for some reason. Let's just imagine that it's there. Alright, let's do some of the easy maps. Let's go with Call of the Dead. Call of the Dead is another easy map. Slightly more difficult. Actually, you know what? No, I think Call of the Dead is easy. It's the top of beginner though. It's the top of beginner. The reason I put it at the top of beginner is that I forgot there was a solo version of the Easter egg, and if we're counting that one, that's the easiest Easter egg ever. But if we're counting the 4-player one on this same map, because this is the only map I think, I think you can do it on Transit too, where there is a solo version of the Easter egg and a co-op version of the Easter egg for 4 people. The solo version of Call of the Dead is by far and away the easiest Easter egg, but the 4-player one is up here, so just by balancing it will go at the top of beginner for that exact reason. But I do love Call of the Dead, but the Easter egg is brain dead easy, to be honest. But yeah, alright, let's actually do the beginner tier now. Mob of the Dead is a beginner, is an easy map. Mostly because you just got to go to the bridge 3 times and you've nearly done it. Yeah, I think that's it actually. Yeah, that's a pretty easy Easter egg as well. But yeah, there you go. Next we have, what's another easy-ish map? Easter egg wise, I'll probably go Die Rise. No, maybe I will go Die Rise. I think that both Maxis and Richtofen's Easter eggs are quite easy. I mean, I think the world record for Die Rise's Easter egg is, I think, 10 minutes, which is absolutely bonkers, by the way. Yeah. I think that, actually, you know what? I think that Transit's Easter egg is quite easy as well, especially now that there's a solo version of the Transit Easter egg that has been discovered. I think that this is fair. I think that Transit and Die Rise are both easy maps, if you want to call them that. Also Moon, I will put at the top of easier than Mob. The only reason it's easier than Mob is because of the mystery box RNG. Like, you need to hit the box for so many things: the QEDs, the Gersh devices, the wave gun. There's just a lot of stuff that you've got to get good RNG for, and tunnel. You know, the excavators. You've got to get the excavator pie. But yeah, I think that's the only issue. It doesn't take skill to complete Moon. It just takes a lot of luck, which is why it's not in beginner, but it isn't easy because it's just you've got to do a lot of resets before you do it, which can be very draining on the mind. Yes, now on to normal difficulty. Zetsubo no Shima is by far the easiest Easter egg in Black Ops 3. Just because basically once you've set up on the map with Pack-a-Punch, the Wonder Weapon, and obviously, I think that's it actually, just do the challenges. Then you're already like 3/4 of the way through the Easter egg. The only thing with Zetsubo no Shima that puts people off is the fact that the setup process is so long and strenuous and tedious. Especially with the planting system, especially with how expensive the map is. So for that reason, Zetsubo is a normal difficulty Easter egg because there's a very steep learning curve for it. But once you have cracked the map down to a science as to how you open up power and Pack-a-Punch and the Wonder Weapon, the rest of it does come naturally, like getting the cogs and obviously getting into the boss fight area and the Widow's Wine part of the Easter egg as well. So I guess it's how you look at it, but I personally, Zetsubo is probably the Easter egg on Black Ops 3 that I've done the most, at least solo, because it is just, yeah, it's just a like I said, it's an easy Easter egg, but it does come with a price of a very, very difficult setup process, which is the issue with another map that we'll get to soonish. But next up on the normal tier of maps, I think Buried should go next. The only reason Buried is normal, whereas Die Rise and Transit are easy, is because of the sharpshooter step at the end. I think everything else is pretty much verbatim the same difficulty as the other 2 Victus maps, but like I say, the sharpshooter step at the end is what determines like how difficult the Easter egg is going to be on your first attempt. So yeah, Buried does also go in normal. But yeah, next we have probably Drak. Yeah, that's fair. We'll stick Drak above Zetsubo though, because Zetsubo is easier than Drak. Horizon Jack is one of the most fun Easter eggs, so I guess this is why I put it in normal. Maybe it should be in the hard tier, but I'll just put Horizon Jack in normal rather than hard, just because it's a fun map and it's fun to learn, which I guess does help when it comes to learning it. Next we'll go with Tag der Toten, which is also more difficult than Horizon Jack. Tag der Toten is a lot of just running around the map, picking up parts and just running. Yeah, it's just a lot of fetch quest stuff. So it doesn't take too much skill to do it. The Tag der Toten is probably a fair placement for Tag. It is quite fun to do though, so there you go. Next we have, I think I'll put Shangri-La. Actually, you know what? Shangri-La's probably a hard map, actually, for Easter egg. What else is a normal map? I think that's it, actually. I think we're moving on to the hard tier already. Shangri-La, right at the bottom of hard. I don't know what else to say about it, really. It's just that it is the first difficult COD Zombies Easter egg, and everyone knows it. It's fun, but on an already very suffocatingly small map, it's difficult to complete the quest when it's, when there's so many difficult steps of, like, looking for, like, puzzles and shite like that. So there you go. Next we have, what's the most difficult after Shangri-La? I'll probably have to say Origins, I think. I think Origins it's not an expert map, but maybe that's because I've got it down to a science, and I love... Origins is my favourite Easter egg, or one of, if you watched my previous tier list video. Origins is such a good Easter egg, man. But I guess it does have the same issue as Zetsubo no Shima, where there is a very steep learning curve for it, so that if, like, once you've set up on the map, you've opened up Pack-a-Punch, got the 1-inch punch and the G-strikes, and gotten a staff, which does sound like a lot on paper, but really, once you know the map, it's just that easy. Once you've done that, you're already one step into the Easter egg, so the rest of it is literally just putting all of that stuff you've collected into action with using the G-strikes and doing the Panzer step and that. So for that reason, Origins is, I think it deserves that spot. It definitely deserves harder than Horizon Jack, because where Horizon Jack only requires you to upgrade one bow, Origins requires you to upgrade all 4, regardless whether you're playing with 4 people or on your own. You've still got to upgrade all 4, which I do agree is a bit tedious to do. But I still think that Origins isn't exactly an expert map. There could be an argument made that it deserves the top tier of difficulty, but in my opinion, it's only hard because I enjoy it, and I don't want to think that it's a difficult map, because I don't. I think it's challenging, but I enjoy the challenge. So there you go. I was trying not to put my own personal bias into this video, but that's already happened. Next we have, I want to say Shadows of Evil is the next most difficult. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think putting Shadows above Origins is fair. Shadows is very, very similar to Origins. It's just that the only difference is there isn't a way to play the Easter egg on solo, at least with the final step of initializing the final gate worm piece, because you can get all the way up to the boss fight with the Shadow Man in the Pack-a-Punch room, but you can't do anything after that, which is a shame. So you can still do the stuff up to that with solo, but you don't get the achievement, which kind of sucks. But the Easter egg is fun, and it does very, very neatly integrate the gameplay of the map, like getting the sword and Pack-a-Punch and all that shite, with doing the Easter egg itself. It is very seamless with that process. It's a very smooth transition from setting up to Easter egg stuff, which I do enjoy. Shadows of Evil also is my favourite map, so I'm obviously going to have a bias to the enjoyment of it, which is why I'm not going to put it in normal difficulty, which I probably would have in a biased world. But yeah. Next most difficult, I am going to go with... I'll probably go with 9, I think. Actually, you know what? No, I'm putting Dead of the Night in here. Dead of the Night, everyone thinks is the hardest Easter egg of all time. They're just wrong. It's the hardest setup process on the map, because you've got to get the Aleister's Foley, you've got to open up Pack-a-Punch, which is a task in and of itself. You've got to open up all the map, and you've got to get all of the pieces for the painting, and you've got to all of that stuff. Setting up on the map is torture, but the Easter egg afterwards is piss easy in my opinion. But the reason I'm putting it in hard is because of how difficult the setup process is, like getting to Pack-a-Punch and getting the Alistair's Annihilator and upgrading it, and yeah, it isn't the easiest setup process. And considering the setup process is so tightly integrated with the Easter egg, like the lines do blur a lot as to where the setup for the map stops and the Easter egg starts, which is why it's in hard. But I will just go out and announce that I think Dead of the Night's Easter egg is great and also easy. It's just the setup process that's a bit painful. But there you go, Dead of the Night sorted. I think that also wraps up my hard Easter eggs, and now we're going to move into the expert ones. I think the second most difficult Easter egg is Voyage of Despair. Mostly because of the clock step and the planet step. The planet step also is fun though, in my personal opinion. People don't like this Easter egg for some reason. I don't mind it. I definitely think the boss fight is one of the redeeming qualities of the Easter egg for sure. The boss fight is one of the coolest in all of COD Zombies in my opinion. Voyage of Despair is one of the best boss fights. But there you go. Next most difficult has to be Alpha Omega. Not just because of... Actually, you know what? Hold on. I think I've made a mistake here. I think Alpha Omega needs to go down. I was going off of, you know, how annoying it is to do. Based on how easy it is to do, it is quite easy for a Black Ops 4 map. Because it is literally just typing in codes. And the boss fight is kind of annoying. And the whole putting in code stuff is easy, but it is also very, very irritating. And I just also hate Alpha Omega. So I just have to put Alpha Omega in. I just don't like Alpha Omega. It is the shittiest map, and I hate it with every cell in my body. But it is still a difficult map because it is still a Black Ops 4 map. Every single Black Ops 4 map is a difficult map. Except Tag the Toten, evidently, as you can see here. But I hate Alpha Omega with every fibre of my being. Next most difficult, though, I'll have to put 9, I think. It's a good map. I do really, really enjoy it. I think 9's Easter egg is one of my favourites. But, yeah, there is definitely a lot to do and a lot to remember. I think the boss fight is one of the coolest features of the map. But I think it's kind of... It's fairly difficult, but once you're in the rhythm of things, about halfway through the Easter egg, you definitely feel like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. We're nearly at the end, when really you're not. You're just kind of more motivated to push on once you're halfway through and done the poo step, if you know what I'm on about. But yeah. Next most difficult probably has to go to Rev. Yeah, just the whole searching for rocks step, I just don't enjoy. Also, having to put the gate worms inside the giant apothecon is a bit of a tedious 4-part step that I don't enjoy too much. It's fine though. It's a fine egg, but there's just a lot. There's just a lot of micromanaging that you've got to do in that map for that Easter egg to work, and for not wanting to pull your hair out halfway through. But it's okay. It's tolerable, but it is definitely challenging. I think it is the most challenging in Black Ops 3. And it does set a precedent of how difficult Easter eggs would become in Black Ops 4, the next Treyarch game. But yeah, next most difficult has to go to Ancient Evil, and then the one after that is Go Rod Crovey. Go Rod Crovey is the second hardest, Black Ops 3 Easter egg. I still like it though. I think that the whole trophy step thing is a bit shite in my opinion. The Mangler step has me in tears sometimes, and the Valkyrie drone step. I don't enjoy those steps too much. I enjoy the concept of the whole trophy collecting step though. I think it's a fun way to keep the audience engaged if they are collectathon type of gamers when it comes to like Easter eggs, like with Origins and that. So I definitely see the appeal for the Go Rod Crovey Easter egg, but it is definitely very challenging, a lot more challenging. But yeah, and then obviously Ancient Evil. The reason it's not anywhere near the hardest in Black Ops 4, and it has to go to 9 and Voyage of Despair and Blood of the Dead over it, is just because setting up with the gauntlets is kind of a seamless setup process, and it's kind of fun. And because you upgrade the gauntlet once, and then you can call it a day. But then obviously you upgrade them one more time to continue on with the Easter egg. So I think it's a fun, well integrated Easter egg, that's for sure, which makes it not as challenging and a bit of a smoother, more organic transition into the actual Easter egg steps. But yeah, I think that's about it. What I'll say about Outbreak is that from the footage I've seen, it's quite a difficult one, especially the boss fight at the end. The boss fight looks like murder, literally. What I'll do is I'll just put this Easter egg as a whole. So let's pretend this part 2 doesn't exist. Part 1, this represents all of Outbreak's Easter egg, not just part 1. So we'll put Outbreak's Easter egg here, just for argument's sake, if you want me to, and then part 2, fuck it. I'll just stick it in here as well. For argument's sake, just based on what I've seen, but my opinion on Outbreak's Easter egg is very, very limited, because I haven't done it myself once. So, for that reason, I can't really put it that high, or I can't really talk much about it without giving misinformation about it, whereas the rest of these Treyarch Easter eggs here, I can in confidence say my opinion of how difficult it would be for a first-time attempt. Obviously, there are some maps that are missing. Like I say, Forsaken is missing, but that'll be right at the bottom. The most easiest Easter egg ever, in my own opinion. Also, Classified from Black Ops 4 is also missing, but that's because the Easter egg is literally just grinding to round 150, which puts that Easter egg second most difficult. Yes, it is still not as difficult as Blood of the Dead's Easter egg. I would rather grind to round 150 on Classified than do Blood of the Dead's Easter egg. That's how difficult Blood of the Dead is. But Classified would be second most difficult, though, because it is getting to a ludicrously high round just to get an ending cutscene that doesn't really amount to too much. So, yeah, I think that's about it. I'm about done ranking my Easter eggs in terms of difficulty, which there you go. I'm sorted. I'm done. I'm free. I've done it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope it's been helpful. And, yeah, I'll see you later. Goodbye.